All right, y'all. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you're tuning in. I'm grateful to have you here. And we got old Booty Judge himself back in the building, aka Pete, saying we should all switch to electric vehicles so we don't have to endure pain at the pump any longer. Oh boy, this should be a fun one. Let's get it popping.
He winning a gold medal at the Out of Touch Olympics. Dan Ricciardo, personal finance expert, joining me now. Dan, does this administration not realize that people who are literally eliminating meals because they can't afford them anymore don't have money to shell out for any car, even a cheap car, much less a very expensive electric car?
Hard out here in the streets.
If you could find a car on the lot. Hi, Todd. How are you? It's good to be back. I think the secretary's a really bright guy, but maybe math isn't the strong suit here, because think about this. The lowest priced Tesla, for example, is about 50 grand. Let's say you put 10% down, Todd, and you finance that over 5 years at 5%. Your payment monthly, $831. I suspect most people this morning who are watching us are probably thinking $831 is out of my league. So great idea, but I think practically speaking, we're not there yet.
Especially, Dan, we're putting the number up on the screen right there, the $831 a month. Especially,
would y'all even be willing to spend, if you had it, would you even be willing to spend $831 a month? Do you know how many good, wholesome meals that you can have for that amount of money each month? Let alone health insurance involved, electric bill, whatever it may be, mortgages, things of that nature. If you got kids, you got all the things that are involved with children. $831 on a vehicle? Come on now. I'm not willing to pay it. I could afford it, Lord willing, but for people that can't, a lot of society, come on now, man. It's absurd. Come on, Brandon.
Your purchasing power as an American during the course of the Biden administration has dropped $3,400. Extrapolate that out. That is many people's meal budget. So who's basically saying, okay, well, now I can't afford meals, but I'm going to go out and buy a $50,000 car?
Insane.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But let me full disclosure. I have an electric car in my garage. I also have a hybrid and a regular gas car. So I have some experience across the board with these three. The electric car is great, but it's essentially still a science experiment in many ways. We have to always be worried about range, as most Americans are when they think about electric cars, or access to chargers. We're lucky enough to have a charger. Most Americans don't have access to a charger. And as you said, Todd, at the end of the day, you and I are worried about putting food on our table, filling our gas tank with our regular cars, right, so that we can get back and forth to work. And inflation, highest in 40 years, has taken a real bite, a pay cut, if you will, for most Americans, especially lower income, middle income Americans.
The Biden administration has frequently said the quiet part out loud on this, that the high gas prices that we are all saying is an intentional push toward electric energy, toward electric vehicles and the like. Do they not realize that electricity is made by coal by and large, and that is polluting the environment when we have some of the cleanest gas and oil right underneath our terra firma?
Yeah, so I'm glad you said that. Listen, most electricity in this country is made by fossil fuel. In this case, in our country, natural gas. The fairy godmother doesn't deliver electrons to the wall outlet, right? That's manufactured. That electricity is manufactured, produced, and delivered to us. And mostly, as you said, still in the form of fossil fuels. But here's the bottom line. This is America, Todd. We can transition to a clean energy future without bankrupting lower income, middle income consumers. We can do that, right? We have the technology, we have the wherewithal to do it, but we're not going to do it overnight. And we shouldn't be doing it by making folks choose between powering, their electric car or powering their air conditioning, right? That's a bad choice. We can do both.
It makes no sense, Dan. It makes no sense. It's frustrating. It's mind-numbing. Dan Ricciardo, thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
When it comes to old Pete, I think he's about as knowledgeable on transportation as Biden is on inflation and border control. It just blows my mind because electric vehicles have been around for quite a while and there's a reason they haven't caught on. And you can't force people to switch just because you want overwhelming control. People don't think about that if we switch all to EV and we go all electric and it's all relying on a power grid where we got to hook up our vehicles to a charging system, the government is in control of those power grids. So if they say you're not going anywhere and they shut it down, you ain't going nowhere. With gas vehicles and things of that sort, you can get up, fill it up if you got the means to do so and go wherever you want. And they can't, unless they set up a road barricade and a blockage on every street corner, You can still get outside your house if you want to, but if your car goes dead and they're in control of that power source, you're struck. And I love when they try to make the environmentally friendly argument as if electrical cars are friendly to the environment more so than fossil fuels. Like, where do you think those rare battery resources are coming from? Like, have y'all really ever took a step back and thought about that? It's disturbing. And at this point, I can tell, at least a lot of people don't. They're misinformed and they don't take a minute to think for themselves. They just go off what they're fed. The bad guys, it's clear as day to me. The bad guys are so out of touch and so evil that they're convinced that they're the good guys in this day and age. And that's messed up because not everyone is rich and not everyone has a government job. So although I may be able to afford that monthly payment, I wouldn't be willing to spend it. I could spend that on a Roth IRA account. I could spend that on my taxes, even though I don't want to give those to the government. I could spend that on food, on my mortgage, on all sorts of different things that I would love to toss that hard-earned money towards other than a car. You know what I'm saying? I like to have the title in no lien holder against me. You know what I'm saying? I like to have the title of my vehicle. I like to be able to afford my vehicle, to put gas in it. I like going to the pump. I wouldn't like having to plug it up like a charger. I lose chargers all the time. So the fact that the government would be in control of whether my charger works or not, no thank you. Y'all can have that. I'll even make y'all a deal. I'm feeling generous today. I'll convert over to electric vehicles myself when the president's motorcade converts and switches over completely to electric, because this country does not have the infrastructure to support all the power and consumption that EV vehicles would require. Just think, after people get home from their jobs, say around 7 p.m., everybody's at home charging their vehicles. How do you think that would play out? How do you think that would really go? Like, the things would blow up. They couldn't handle it. That consumption, that overuse would drive everybody mad and nobody be able to go anywhere. We'd be stuck in the house, nobody making any money. And then inflation's really going to go up because there's no consumers out there. So people don't really think about the deteriorating effects that switching over to all electric would do to society. Now, I have to think, if this was a Republican official making these claims, telling us to switch from gas to electric vehicles, they would absolutely be investigating the connections with Elon Musk. There's no doubt about it. But when a leftist says it, it makes sense. It really doesn't for people that think for themselves to have common sense. It doesn't add up to me, because the average everyday hardworking American, men or women, they can't afford a $50,000 vehicle. Most people nowadays can't even afford a vehicle that's $20,000 without having to make a monthly payment. And that's still check to check, just trying to get by. Now, I'm not saying that that's not their own fault for, taking the job choice that they did, but it is what it is. And working class Americans don't want to have to try to maintain an electric vehicle. The charging, if a battery goes out, y'all want to talk about how much those batteries cost? It just doesn't make sense. And if you want to go on a long road trip, what are they like, averaging like 200-300 miles? Who has time to stop a 200-300 mile part of their trip to just go charge a vehicle and then keep up the journey? People don't ask enough questions, and it doesn't make any sense to me. But y'all comment your thoughts below. I would love to hear your opinion on this. Do you own an electric vehicle? What's your experience with them? Would you ever switch? What's your thought process on this whole thing? Let's be civil down below. We can still have differing opinions. Everybody has a few of them like elbows. I would love to know y'all take on this one right here. And if you support my videos, if you rock with this channel, my take on it, whether it's just showing you what news is going on or my stance on these things, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date on all my videos. Share this so we can keep the discussion going, so we can see what other people think. I think that's what it starts with in society, getting informed and having discussions respectfully with others, so we can keep progressing and get different ideas and then go from there. That's just what I think, though. But outside of that, all my links are down below. Gibby Gear, if you want to rock this shirt that I'm rocking, this cross flag design. Y'all know I stand in Christian values. Can't really give a biblical approach to this one right here. I know God's going to work it all together for the greater good, but when it comes to Pete Buttigieg speaking and these extreme leftists, I just really don't know which direction they're trying to steer us. I think it's all down south. I think it's all evil. It's out of pure greed and chaos, and I'm not a part of it. I'm not. Let's go Brandon is a funny slogan to me, but I'm not actually cheering for him to do anything good, because I don't see it. Behind closed doors, I see nothing but despair. But again, God will work it all together for the greater good. Keep praying for this country. Outside of that, if you want to continue to support the channel, you can always buy me a coffee, donate on PayPal. You don't got to do anything at all. Just showing up, viewership. I appreciate y'all. I consider y'all family. So until next time, I love you. I'm praying for you. Godspeed. I'm gone.